This film reminded me of Snakes on a Plane with a touch of Train to Busan. I came from uptown, way uptown. I came from uptown, way uptown. I came from uptown, way. Ayy. So, I checked out Blood Red Sky. This is a vampire flick that was directed by Peter Thorwath that's on Netflix. The film follows a German woman named Nadja, who initially seems to be suffering from cancer. She and her son Elias board an overnight flight to New York to visit a doctor for treatment. During the flight, the plane is violently taken over by a group of hired hijackers who attempt to put the plane on a crash course to London. One of the hijackers sends shots at Nadja for leaving her seat, killing her, but shortly after, she comes back from the dead. And at that point, it's clear she ain't sick at all. She's actually a vampire living on demon time. Flashback scenes show that Nadja became a vampire after being infected by one. In the past, she and her husband were driving home with their newborn when their vehicle broke down during a snowstorm. He went out to look for help but never returned, so she went out to look for him. She came across an old house where she found her husband dead after she was chased inside and bitten by a vampire who bit the dust when the sun rose. She dipped but returned another day looking for answers and met up with an old vampire who accused her of killing his son. He also told her that they've been cursed and they can't allow the evil to keep spreading because no one can control it. He then tried to smoke her ass, but she avoided the shots and beat him to death, then took his vampire suppressant medication right before she lit his base ablaze. From that day forward, Nadja held back her vampire transformation for years by taking that medicine and consuming the minimal amount of blood needed to keep her bloodthirsty cravings under control. She also wore contacts to hide her mutated eyes and dental retainers that held back her fangs after she pulled them out. Her love for her son was so strong that she was able to make rational decisions and raise him successfully for years as a vampire. The medication that she used was the same medicine that's used to treat leukemia. And her doctor in New York believed that he could use radiation therapy to kill off the vampire cells in her body. The way that her son explained it, the doctor could kill off the bad blood cells and implant new bone marrow, then she would be able to start making healthy new blood. The vampire cells are similar to cancer cells. They grow over time, but drinking blood causes the cells to grow fast, which accelerates a person's transformation. The vampires in this flick look realistic. The makeup, costumes, and CGI that they use to bring them to life was on point. Lately, I've been seeing a lot of fresh vampires that look like they ready to steal your girl or hit up the scene. These vampires were ugly, bloodthirsty, and vicious. They growled and hissed and looked demonic while covered in blood. After a person is infected by a vampire's bite, they slowly lose their humanity as the virus spreads throughout their body until they transform into a full-blown, bloodthirsty vampire. The transformation looked painful. The vampires were super strong, had razor-sharp teeth, and had next level healing abilities that were accelerated when they drank blood. Drinking blood powers them up, and if they don't consistently feed, they will die. Hair loss and extreme sensitivity to the light are side effects, but cutting off the area you were bitten, like say a hand, can stop the vampire virus from spreading. It's kind of similar to a zombie virus, except vampires can be killed by striking their heart and zombies the head. In the film, all hell breaks loose on the plane after one of the goons, a Looney Tune named 8-Ball, immobilizes Nadja and then extracts some of her blood and injects it in himself because he wanted to become a vampire too. He starts infecting his squad and the other passengers, and it's up to Nadja to stop the evil from spreading. The old vampire tried to tell Nadja that no vampire could control their thirst for blood and that the evil was too strong, so they had to stop it from spreading. That's why he tried to take her out. Even though she tried her best to prove that she could for her son, by the end of the film, she lost control and became a full-blown, blood-sucking vampire. She looked hella pale and her ears and facial structure changed. She sucked the life out of one too many people on the plane, which completed her transformation. She pushed Elias away from her earlier on the plane because she had a taste for his blood after he fed her some to revive her. A mother's love couldn't even hold back her thirst for blood. That's why she charged at him. She ain't recognized him and seen him as her next meal. He knew she ain't want to live her life as a vampire because he helped her with her condition since a youngin'. So to avoid a vampire world takeover, he used the hijacker's detonator that he stashed in his teddy bear to blow up the explosives on the plane, to smoke her and stop the evil from spreading. The hijacker's motivation was hella vague. From what was revealed, their plan was to put the plane on a crash course to London, then dip the scene on some James Bond-ish with parachutes. This had to be an inside job. The hijackers were probably hired by the head honchos of the airline because they had a stewardess and the co-pilot working with them. Also, the airline rescheduled Farid's flight last minute, and he's on the terrorist watch list. So he's a perfect candidate to pin a terrorist attack on. It ain't a coincidence he was one of the Muslim men that the goons picked to read a recorded statement blaming Islamic extremists for the attack on London. Passengers were tossing out a lot of conspiracy theories about why they thought the plane got hijacked. One thought that massive profits could be made off of a massive drop in airline stocks. A news report at the start of the film showed that there was a boost in airline stocks. So the hijackers' goal might have been to manufacture a terrorist attack like the one that went down at the World Trade Center, which would trigger a stock market crash. All the characters played their roles well. Perry Bowmeister delivered a strong performance as Nadja. She played a loving mother, and it was sad but equally dope to see her slowly transform and lose herself to the vampire virus. Alexander Scheer played his role the best as 8-Ball the hijacker. Dude was able to unlock his inner psycho. He gave off Joker vibes. He was menacing as a goon and was cold-blooded as a vampire. I thought this was a dope flick. It was mad bloody and gory to the point that it was hard to watch at times. The story was dark and action-packed. The CGI and visuals were on point. This film is definitely worth watching. It's an entertaining vampire film about motherly love. I'm gonna go ahead and give it 3 mics. Let me know what y'all thought about Blood Red Sky in the comments below. It's absolutely free for y'all to support the channel. Doesn't cost y'all a dime to hit that like and subscribe button. So make sure y'all do that. And I'm gonna get up with y'all in the next video, alright? Holla at me. I came from uptown, way uptown. I came from uptown, way uptown. I came from uptown, way